Hi everyone, welcome back to my 60 new Einsetzen and Ansetzen exercises. I'm going to start off with a little explanation today about what is meant by Einsetzen and Ansetzen, how it works, how do we achieve these things, and then follow on with day 11's exercise, which is a little bit back to basics. So, the terms Einsetzen and Ansetzen. Einsetzen literally means setting in, and it's often or mostly interpreted as referring to what you do with the mouthpiece when you place it on the lips. You are setting the mouthpiece in the bottom lip, like this. Another way of looking at it, and something I've been saying to people quite a lot lately, is that you can actually think as well about the alignment of the lips. And when we do an Einsetzen embouchure, we are setting the top lip, this surface here, in the bottom lip, like this. So the other embouchure type is Ansetzen, which means setting against or setting on. And again, if you think of it as being with the mouthpiece, it goes on the lips. Or if you think about the lip alignment, the top lip is resting on the bottom lip, like so. And so you've got Einsetzen and Ansetzen. Now, I also thought I'd show you a few pictures. This is an original first edition trumpet yoga by Jerome Khalett, one of my prized possessions. And it's got these great photos in it. This is a picture of Khalett from the 70s. And you can see with his face that his unfurling of the lips is a little more muscular, but less protruded bottom lip as well than when I demonstrate this. And there's a great picture as well here where he uses a visualizer, and you can see even more so. So you may wish to pause the video to get a look at that, but you can see that what he's doing is setting the mouthpiece on the top lip as described in the second edition of Trumpet Yoga, like this. It's that picture there. So when you unfurl or unroll the lips, you can think of it like this. That's more like the really old school picture. And it works just as well, but what I find is that eventually that bottom lip ends up pouting out a little bit more underneath the mouthpiece, and it gives you a more secure setting. Helps us with these exercises as we go from here to here. And we're drawing everything into this interlocking of the corners of the mouth, of the lips, the tongue, into this tight closed position where it can best resist the flow of air. Now I'm not going to go on much more about that, but I thought that would be just a nice little thing. Did this load up? No, I was trying to load up a copy of my ebook on my iPad to show you the pictures from there as well, but you'll have to go buy it instead. Okay, so day 11. Today's exercise is all about smoothing out this movement. Now, in Jeff Smiley's book, The Balanced Embouchure, he refers to what happens with the lips as a rolling in and rolling out. And I quite like that, that description. Now, if I were talking directly about the Balanced Embouchure method, I would not be making videos and showing you how I do this, because a big part of using that method is that you discover for yourself what your range of motion is in terms of roll in and roll out. And so Jeff quite firmly believes that watching somebody else do it can lead you down the wrong path, because your face isn't the same. What feels rolled in and rolled out to you may not feel rolled in or rolled out to somebody else, and so it's worth just exploring that yourself. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to start on a C in the staff, third space C, and then glissando down 3 octaves to the double pedal C. We'll then come back up to a B, down 3 octaves to the double pedal B, and then back to the C again. So effectively we're doing this. But we're offsetting the second of each minim by 3 octaves. So fairly uncomplicated exercise, but really what we want to do is get to grips with this movement, and you can do it slowly and exaggerate it like this. Even in doing it like that, when I'm trying to do it slowly, I'm often quite surprised at how quickly I make my way back up that 3 octave gliss, because that's exactly what these exercises are about, is just locking into the correct lip position as quickly as possible. And it's surprising how often you expect it to be more effort, you expect it to be a greater change than it actually is, than what's necessary. It really is a voyage of discovery in terms of finding correct aperture. When doing this thing with the 60 new exercises, it's really, I get literally excited, and it's a little bit over the top, but I do really just, I find that I learn things with every new exercise that I write, and I hope that you're getting the same out of it. So we're going to take this pattern through all of the different positions. So the next is going to be B and A sharp. Notice how I keep the air moving as I move from one embouchure to the other. That's a very important part of this. Right, I'm not doing that right. I'm just thinking as well about how little mouthpiece pressure I'm using. This is a really important point, and as I go on, well, I already know what's coming up next in terms of the exercises, because I'm a couple of days behind with the video, which I will explain in an upcoming video. But minimal mouthpiece pressure. It's literally just sitting there with my embouchure moving around behind the mouthpiece. B flat and A, I think, is where I'm up to. Hold that note until you run out of air at the end if you're doing it in one breath. It's a really good way of getting you to push through and support those notes. A and G sharp. Notice how I still use 1 and 3 for the G, all 3 vowels for the F sharp. Okay, so there we have it. I always run out of air on the last ones. It's great to keep pushing yourself in that way. It's very different when you're playing in the Ansetzen position all the time. I talk about how when the embouchure is correctly resisting the air, it almost feels like you're holding your breath, because you're just pushing against this, against the resistance provided by the embouchure. And you can play for a really long time in one breath. Actually, when I really concentrate on that stuff, it can go, 32 bars or more of a melody with lots of articulation, where I'm not just releasing all the air all the time, but it's Anyway, I'll do a demo of that at some point so that you can all see it. That's day 11. Thanks for watching. Speak to you soon.